Good evening, everybody, and welcome to, I don't know if it's quite evening, it's still early afternoon. Welcome back to Pawpaw Storytime for his grandkids and anyone else that wants to watch along with us. I'm gonna read those two of the four books that I got last weekend down at that big aquarium down in Springfield, the Goodnight Missouri and the Goodnight Mermaids. They're the short, hard page books, and do my opening and closing readings with Dr. Richard Carlson and Mr. Fred Rogers. And we're going to start with Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. Technically it's for teens, but I imagine everything in here is going to be good stuff. So this one is chapter 4, Practice Mental Aikido. Years ago I saw a demonstration of martial art Aikido that had a profound and permanent impact on my way of looking at life. Aikido is a gentle-looking but extremely powerful and graceful method of self-defense that takes the physical aggression and strength of your opponent and uses it to your advantage. It has the effect of disarming your opponent with seemingly little effort. The specific demonstration I witnessed was almost unbelievable. The contest was between two men. A large man appeared to be at least twice as strong and substantially more angry than the smaller one. The larger man charged his opponent and began swinging his fist. Without so much as blinking an eye, the smaller man calmly reached toward the charging man and moved ever so slightly to one side. To this day, I don't know how it happened, but the larger man ended up on the floor, while the smaller man stood above him, not a hair out of place. A similar pattern continued for a few minutes before it became obvious to the stronger man that he had zero possibility of even so much as touching his opponent, much less hurting him. His anger turned to humility as he simply gave up. I've learned the emotional equivalent of Aikido works wonders in life as well. I've discovered that more often than not, a gentle approach to resolving conflicts and attacks is most effective. Rather than fighting fire with fire or rolling up my sleeves and fighting back, I attempt to diffuse an angry or hostile confrontation with softness and without losing my temper. Let me give you a practical example. I was being interviewed on a radio talk show when a caller objected to one of my main points. In a somewhat hostile tone, he said mean things to me, clearly looking for a heated argument. Rather than defend myself for what I had said, I took a deep breath and tried to see his point of view. In a way, I was stepping out of the way of his attack, attempting to diffuse his aggression. Then very gently, with no intended sarcasm, I agreed with him. In fact, I complimented him on his ability to think through his position. That was it. The argument was over before it had a chance to start. There was nothing left for him to be angry about. Since we were simply expressing our different points of view, it didn't really matter who was right or wrong. And even if he had kept up his hostility, he would have ended up looking pretty bad because I wasn't going to fight back. You probably can imagine how differently the situation would have turned out if I had fought back and defended myself. In all likelihood, both of us would have been defensive, an argument would have sprung up, and there would have been no winners, only frustration and unresolved hostility. It's important to know that mental Aikido doesn't necessarily mean you always back down or agree with someone else's point of view. Instead, it involves selecting the perfect peaceful response, whatever that might be. It suggests redirecting negative energy that is headed toward you in a more peaceful way. It might mean that you ask a question, pause, or say nothing at all. It could mean that you ask if you can take the matter up at another time, or say that you'd like to sit with it for a moment. The main thrust of mental Aikido is that you don't overreact, become overly defensive, yell and scream, and become bothered. You see the situation as a dance, or an opportunity to resolve the differences peacefully and without drama. Your peace of mind and lack of reaction become your weapons in solving the problem. When you can't be rattled, others will respect you, listen to you, and have a tendency to see things your way. The same dynamic applies to so many types of potential conflicts and confrontations. Whether it's a friend, parent, someone you're in a relationship with, or even a stranger in the street, mental Aikido is a powerful tool in your quest for a more peaceful life. Start working with it today, and your conflicts will have less intensity right away. We'll bookmark that one and put it back in the rotation. We'll be on chapter 5 next time it gets pulled up. And we'll do, the first one's going to do, what we're going to do is Good Night Mermaids by Adam Gamble and Mark Jesper. I'm assuming Mark Jesper did the illustrations. Nope, it was written by Adam Gamble and Mark Jesper, illustrated by Soo-In Chan. And it's a hard page book. Pretty cool picture right on the front of it. It says, "Good morning, sun, rising over the lagoon. Are we ready to share a wonderful day?" Hello, amazing mermaid, playing under the water. Ahoy there, mermaid, riding on a friendly dolphin. Hold on tight. Legend says that every mermaid has a gemstone hidden deep within the ocean. When she finds it, her tail becomes the color of the stone forever. Greetings, mermaids living in your magnificent underwater castle. These silly mermaids are playing dress up. Would you like to play dress up with mermaids? It's nice to see you, octopus, dancing with the mermaid. Good afternoon, mermaids, swimming around the coral reef. Hello, school for little mermaids. This is where young mermaids learn their magical ways. Mermaids love to blow bubbles. Wonderful work, little mermaids, saving the sailor from the shipwreck. That sounds like a famous Little Mermaid story we've heard before, huh? Howdy, mermaids going seahorse riding. Good evening, sunken pirate ship and treasure. Good evening, mermaid symphony, playing beautiful music of the sea. Good night, mermaids, softly singing a sweet nighttime lullaby. Good night, twinkling stars and silvery moon shining on the water. Good night, mermaids. Good night, sea of dreams. Thank you for sharing a wonderful day. The end. That's a cute little story, huh? And this one by Adam Gamble and Mark Jesper as well. And this one was actually illustrated by Joe Vino, so that's a different illustrator, but the same person wrote the book. And it's another Goodnight book with the hard pages. This one's called Goodnight, Missouri. Good morning, paddle boat, floating down the mighty Mississippi. Are we ready to share a wonderful day? Good morning, St. Louis Arch, stretching high in the sky. Happy springtime, magnificent Clydesdales at Grant's Farm. It's great to see you, colorful fish, at the Sea Life Kansas City Aquarium. Greeting, handsome tiger, at the St. Louis Zoo. Wow, look at all the colors at the Butterfly Palace in Branson. And hello, Mark Twain boyhood home in Hannibal. Mark Twain was one of our country's greatest writers. wonder if that's really what his house looks like. I'm going to have to look that up. Good afternoon, St. Louis Cardinals. Hit one out of the park. And good afternoon, Kansas City Chiefs. Score a touchdown. Ahoy there, boaters, zipping across the Lake of the Ozarks. Good day, children playing at the City Museum. Riding on the train is so much fun at Silver Dollar City. Good evening, family and friends, enjoying world-famous Kansas City barbecue. And good evening, everyone. Grab some popcorn and let's go to the 66 Drive-In. Good evening, students learning so many things at the University of Missouri. Good night, St. Louis Art Museum in Forest Park. Good night, snowflakes falling softly over the Ozark Mountains. And good night, children of Missouri. Thank you for sharing a wonderful day. Well, that book was pretty cool. All things to do and see and go to here in Missouri. He talked about the Chiefs. I've actually been to some of these places. Some of these places I haven't. I want to look up that Mark Twain Boyhood Home. And we're going to close out tonight with The World According to Mr. Rogers. Important things to remember. I know that's still backwards to you guys. I don't know how to flip the video around. The pictures can be in reverse. The words can't, right? This says, you rarely have time for everything you want in this life, so you need to make choices. And hopefully your choices can come from a deep sense of who you are. Most of us, I believe, admire strength. It's something we tend to respect in others, desire for ourselves, and wish for our children. Sometimes, though, I wonder if we confuse strength with other words, like aggression and even violence. Real strength is neither male nor female, but it is quite simply one of the finest characteristics that any human being can possess. And we'll put that one back in the rotation too. And that's going to be it for this week, guys. I know they were kind of short stories, but I think they were kind of good. They were cute. Try to remember our minds, just like our books, work better when they're open. I love you guys very much for being exactly who you're supposed to be, and we'll see you guys next week.